KXL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in. Today's new drug is I'm a little off to a little bit of a sluggish start. I didn't tell you this or not, but I've been working all night on the Weed Cousins set list. Okay. Just so you know, we're opening with China Grove. We're coming right out of the gate.
That's
out of the gate.
That's smart.
And we're ending with Listen to the Music. Somewhere in the middle is Long Train Running. And just so you know, when we go to the Michael McDonald stuff, you're on stage.
Oh, great.
Okay. JJ, you haven't heard anything until you've heard Carline do What a Fool Believes. Just so you know that. Okay, so just so you know that.
I didn't know you could hit that.
That's what
Neither did I.
Yeah, but can you imagine trying to replicate Michael McDonald?
Oh, no.
Isn't that kind of how he sounds?
Yeah.
That's Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
That's him. So welcome to the program. Glad you're with us. Lots to talk about today. Brett Hastings in again. And by the way, Sports in Courts is going to sound like we're repetitive. We don't mean to be repetitive. But now the Bediako thing's over. And why did he lose? And what's the possible ramifications of it? And Brett's going to kind of break that down for us today. What happens now? What happens now? What happens now on the is this a precedent? And so because we talked about
and could you appeal it if you're Alabama? It doesn't sound like it.
But that's a great question.
Yeah.
And because it seems like to me Trinidad Chambliss is going to keep appealing until August. Whether it gets in, I mean, every time. Have you noticed that there's some other means to appeal now that I didn't know about? So I mean, it seems like that's gonna keep happening. So yeah, we'll certainly talk about that today. But I'm looking forward to that. I got a lot of fun stuff today. By the way, NBA guy JJ, did you see the Pistons Hornets fight a couple nights ago?
I did.
Did you see it?
I
Hayes?
enjoyed it.
Just highlights of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean the highlights of the fight. I'll tell you what. Now that was a fight.
It was real.
I mean that wasn't
It wasn't handbags. Or whatever.
Yeah. Sports fights can be guys squaring up. You know, can be the hold me back crew. Hold me back. Hold me back. It can be the hold me back crew. Well, I don't know. I mean, I
7 game suspension for Isaiah Stewart.
It's his 5th time suspended.
Yeah, he's like the newest goon in the league. I enjoy him.
Yeah, 5th time.
Yeah, he's the guy, if you remember a couple years ago, who went straight at LeBron. He was so pissed.
Yeah, he went at LeBron.
Which nobody goes at the king.
Yeah. But I mean, again, I read about it. Yeah, I read about it. It happened Monday night. I read about it yesterday, but I never saw the video. I thought, okay, another fight, bunch of guys saying, hold me back.
Yeah, when you hear NBA fight, you always think it's going to be pathetic.
This was a fight. This was reminiscent of Steven Jackson going into the crowd years ago. I mean, it was
just because it lasted so long and the benches got involved. Like the guy, I feel bad for the guy who took the cheap shot to the face.
Yeah.
Because he was separated by like 1,000 people. He wanted to get after him so bad. I mean, and he almost did. He got away from like 10 people, and then the crowd got bigger. And then I guess as he made his way sort of towards the bench, some of the Hornets players got
for people that didn't see it. So this Jalen Duren was shooting a layup, and Musa Diabate fouled him. So they had words. They headbutted a little bit. Well, Duren pushed him in the head, put his hand in his face. Oh, my goodness. Diabate lost his mind. JJ, I don't know that I've seen a mind lost like that in a long time.
And
he lost his mind.
If that happens, it'd been boiling up.
Yeah,
that wasn't just from that one exchange. I'm sure the entire game they'd been going at.
So, but, I mean, if you suspend a guy 5 times for fighting, at some point, do you have the wrong guy in the league, maybe? It's
like
5.
JJ said, I mean,
this.
You need, okay. I believe you.
I love it.
But I mean,
it
is 5 times.
To me, he got a 7 game suspension. So I mean, they obviously.
I don't follow close.
And a guy like him doesn't make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So I would assume like 7 games is going to hurt him a little bit.
Makes sense. Sorry.
It wasn't as egregious as like Draymond in practice totally cold clocking his teammate that we saw a couple years ago. Like that to me is at a level.
Yeah, Stewart got it because A, he came off the bench, and B, the other 4 suspensions.
Exactly.
It's hard to believe that we're like 40 years removed from the bad boy Pistons.
Oh, I know.
And
I
like
thought,
Lambeer.
But you had to think about that when you saw that this was the Pistons.
That feels like it was 10 years ago. It's 40 years ago.
People our age, and I love bringing you into my age group there. But but people that are not super young don't. You probably don't have a lot of remember.
I mean, I've seen all the videos of Lambeer's fights.
But we can tell you they were the bad boys.
That was every night.
Every night, I mean, between Lambeer and Rodman, they were sucker punching. Yeah, Mahorn, they were sucker punching somebody at a general principle.
Yeah.
They were at dinner at Applebee's and they were sucker punching somebody. So
see, my generation was like After the Malice in the Palace, man, they put such a foot down, the NBA did on that stuff, so it kind of like disappeared completely.
Because that went into the stands.
That was nasty.
Yeah.
I remember watching it live. It was like a Friday night.
Yeah, it was a Friday night. It was a Friday night. So, anyway, a little bit interesting stuff. I'll talk a little bit about stuff that coming up later on. A serious topic that I'm going to ask you about, because I followed this really closely. What went wrong between Florida and Mike White? Because I think it's an interesting topic. I mean, I thought it was a really good hire when they hired him. It was time. It was time for him, and everybody win. Georgia has got a better coach than they've had in a while. Florida got a guy that wins some national titles, so everybody wins in the end. But that was a weird divorce.
Classic. Don't be the guy that follows the legend.
Yeah, I think that. Not only do I think that, I think that's the thesis statement. But there's always some side particles to it, some sidebars that yes, I do think that's it. Don't be the guy that follows it. But it's real. I mean, I got some of his numbers here. We'll go through them. As the Gators play against Georgia tonight, I thought it was a good time to do that. And I also want to talk a little bit about coaches and where they might wind up. I mean, we're watching. I got thinking about this. I'm ahead of I'm probably ahead a little bit, but that's what we do, right? Todd Golden, what's the ceiling? Oh, by the way, he's got a title. Okay. Liam Cohen, what's the ceiling? We happen to have, there's no real connection between the two. There is a connection between Liam Cohen and John Summerall. They're friends and coach together. So when we look
Mike Norvell, what's the ceiling?
well, and I was dumb enough to maybe ask that 3 years ago. I did.
I think we know it now.
Yeah, I think we do.
13-1, losing by 60 in a bowl game.
Right, but I think it's an interesting topic.
It is. They certainly could be on their way to unbelievable careers.
So we'll certainly talk about that. J.U. Stetson, UNF Gulf Coast, big games tonight. I'm glad they're Wednesday because then they get 3 days before the Rumble on Saturday. But tough years for JU and UNF now. Tough years, so certainly I kind of touch on that a little bit. So got a lot of stuff on the docket today. It'll start with Brett Hastings talking about maybe the final touch on this Bediako thing. We'll certainly get to that coming up a little bit later on in the program. Pitchers and catchers, JJ. I'm excited. I'd be lying if I said I would. You've been watching videos?
And the weather's changing.
Oh, I got
that time of year.
You give me a video of a guy throwing a bullpen. A guy wearing number 78.
With no one hitting.
A guy wearing number 78 that I've never heard of throwing a bullpen. I'm a happy cat, okay? Because that's what you got. Guys throwing bullpens right now are wearing 78. That's what they're doing.
I was really happy until Spencer Schwallenbach, one of our best pitchers, just got put on the 60-day disabled list with like bone spurs or something scary. Yeah.
Well, I'll say that as good
the
as
Braves are just.
The Braves will lose the pitcher on you.
Yeah, they will.
Golly, they really will. So I didn't know that. So we got a lot of things to talk about. So a lot to do on the program today. Glad you're with us. We'll kick it off with our friend Brett Hastings. He's done a terrific job on Sports and Courts as we follow this thing. Bediako cannot play anymore. The second judge that was not cousins with Bear Bryant did not grant the injunction, and now his career is over. What does that mean legally? Are there any appeals left? What will the precedent be? The legal precedent that comes out of that. Brett will cover it all for us after this. That's how we'll kick off the program with Sports and Courts. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's big. What kind of monster are you? And he's big on the Jags.
3 times bigger than this.
Mike Dempsey.
What do you think? Well, what do you know?
10 to noon weekdays.
A lot smarter than I look.
On 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be an 8-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient. The only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit NimnickChevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. I've been buying my vehicles there since 1982 because they care about their customers and are invested in our local community, including supporting walk-off charities and all we're trying to do to give underprivileged kids a chance to play baseball. Treating you right, giving the most back to the community, more choices and better prices for you. So who has put the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. Visit the showroom off Cassett Avenue or shop 24/7 at NimnickChevy.com. Remember again, who does it best? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 11th, 1990, James Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in the 10th round to win the World Heavyweight Boxing title.
Roses are red, Florida gets hotter, and your AC is about to ruin the mood. If your system barely survived last summer, now's the time to replace it before the real heat comes back swinging. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning makes it easy. No surprises, no runaround. And with our Sweetheart AC deals, get $750 off a new AC system when you install by March 15th. Fall in love with an AC that keeps it cool without the stress and call now for a free estimate. 904-862-6769, duckduckrooter.com.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
I'm Carl. I'm 68 years old, and I lost 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. And looking at pictures, I realized that my color wasn't good. I looked bloated, constantly tired, out of breath. It got to the point where I decided it was time to pick up the phone and call Awaken 180. The combination of the diet and the coaching really pushed me over the top. My self-confidence soared. I'm walking, I'm working out. Instead of 68, I feel like I'm 28. I just had my annual physical, and my doctor looked at my blood pressure and he said, "What did you do? What happened?" And I explained that I'm on the Awaken 180 program. I've never felt so good in my life. And as somebody that sometimes likes to take the shortcut, I didn't have to do that with this program. Awaken 180 is my solution for weight loss.
Carl's solution for weight loss. My daughter Amber's solution for weight loss. Lowered blood pressure, increased confidence, feeling years younger. Not a temporary fix, a solution. Want the same results? Then choose Awaken 180 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
Brett Hastings is here. It is Sports in Courts. There's been an entertaining Sports in Courts season, if you will, really all year long. And Charles Bediaco is the gift that just keeps giving. So let's talk about it again. I thought about you and I talked earlier during the day that we know we've been on the same topic. We like to mix them up a little bit. But this is the one that won't leave the news.
Right.
And the most recent update is Charles Bediaco is now out. The second judge did not grant an injunction. And it's everything you told us it would be. The main thing is there was not, you explain it way better than I do, but essentially what you're saying is there was not a great chance he would win. There was not a great possibility. So what happened?
Well, first thing, to go back to what we were talking about last week, is this idea between a temporary and a permanent injunction. And so the temporary injunction, and you guys were kind of talking about it tongue in cheek, but it really is true. Somebody filled out a petition and signed it under oath, okay? And the first judge, who, we found out did have a close affiliation with the University of Alabama, said, okay, we're going to allow there to be this temporary injunction until we have a full-blown hearing. And you could kind of think of this as a trial without a jury because the judge decides. But you know what they tell you in Florida's law school, day one, know thy judge. And so there was a new judge, not the judge who had allowed the temporary injunction, and he was going to be the one that was going to decide it. The NCAA was going to be there. As we found out, there were affidavits from Greg Sankey, from a whole lot of other people. They put on some evidence by way of testimony, and then they go and make legal arguments. And that's really when you get the decision. Now, you know, last week you were frustrated, and I think everybody in sports was frustrated.
How do we fight back?
How do you fight back? And why can't everybody go file an injunction? And I know sometimes everybody was like, well, that sounds like some legalese. I go, well, you know what? This is the temporary injunction. What really matters is this hearing and when the hearing takes place. And what's really important was it's essentially a trial at the beginning. Well, if you win it at the beginning, then it's really good for Bediako. But if you lose it, it's really bad. And that's where we're at now. And so, yes, he can appeal it, right? Now it's just a regular lawsuit where he's asking for this, but he's not going to get to play this year, okay? And more importantly, one of those elements that we talked about is likelihood of success on the merits, right? And we have some really bright listeners out there, and you don't need a law degree to know that up until this point with the NCAA, once you chose to go pro and you went and took pro money and you played in the G League and you got the picture with the San Antonio Spurs or, you know, whatever it is, and it was done, right? That was intentional, that you made that decision and you wanted to go live with it, and the NCAA should do it as well. Well, the court, after going through all of this, made the decision there is not a likelihood of success on the merits. So theoretically, you can continue to litigate this. And in some commercial contexts, it is, you know, a lot of times the injunction could be denied and you could still win later in the case. But, you know, is Charles Bediako going to spend all this money and go forward? Because the court has already had to make a decision at the beginning. And it's what's so unique about injunctions, because we're trying to maintain the status quo. And, you know, we had talked about it. A typical injunction would be, let's not rip down a historic house from the 1830s until we know. So they would look at the likelihood of success on the merits and say, you know what, let's keep the status quo. Let's let the lawsuit go on. Right now, the court's kind of said, guess what? You're going to lose in the end. So the lawyers have to look at it. You know, common sense here, I think, prevails. You know, this is the situation. We've seen so many kind of oddities and, you know, things come up, I think, in sports and collegiate sports and with NIL that none of us had anticipated. We've seen people kind of get through the loopholes, but this is really a clear legal issue, right? Like, we know that once you get to this point that you should no longer have any of this eligibility. And that's, you know, separate and distinct from, are you an employee or any of that. You know, antitrust is something else that you would have out there, but I can't fathom that Charles Bediako, after already losing in this injunction hearing in the state of Alabama, is going to fund this himself to run it out over time. And this is the difference between collective bargaining and other things. If this were an important issue to all the players, these are the types of things that you would see, okay, a players union or somebody else say, we're going to continue to litigate this, you know, on behalf of an individual player. I don't think him or Alabama are going to do it, especially because what was the one thing that I thought was really interesting about the hearing?
Tell me.
Greg Sankey said he didn't want to see it go forward. So I can't fathom Alabama is going to jump on an appeal or pay for this for Charles Bediako. This is going to be about Charles Bediako taking it on, and I think it's 0% chance of that happening.
Will this dissuade other athletes from doing this, or will they have a case as long as they're not in the state of Alabama?
Absolutely. I think the critical thing is going to be, is the NCAA going to say, guess what? We went ahead and we listened to the court's order during those games, but this was an ineligible player as its later thing, and you should lose some of those games or do it. That's what will dissuade everybody going forward, right? That's how, where Frank says, how do we fight back? Well, guess what? You won this legal thing, and you're supposed to be this enforcement wing over collegiate athletics. So I think this is where you should draw a hard line, you know?
Do you think...
Did they win while he was eligible?
Yeah, they were. I think they were 3-2, maybe. Or,
is that what it was? I didn't know. Is that where they won it? 3-2. At one point, they were 1-2. They must have won the next two. They were 1-2 at one point.
They beat Auburn. They beat A&M.
So they
won. I think
that's right.
and then they lost, I think, Tennessee and Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They
Either
were,
way,
they
but
were
I mean,
1 and
there's
2 at
some-
one point, and then they won 2.
Right.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to follow up on Hayes' question. And Hayes, I think you were asking just about specific ones like this. Go to college, go to the G League, come back. Will it dissuade others from that? I'm going to take it a step further. Will it help cases that are not the same but are similar in that they're challenging eligibility rules that have existed forever? Will this ruling make it harder for Trinidad Chambliss or Joey Aguilar? Will that have? Will you see what?
I
this
don't
affect that?
believe so.
It won't affect that at all.
I think the precedent of this case will be once you go pro, you're not coming back.
Okay.
Right? Once you go to the NFL, once you go to the NBA, once you go to these other, what I think they thought was the strong component of it from a test case was that the 5-year window had not expired for him, right? It wasn't like you went to the pros for 7 years and now you're not making money and you were going to come back. But, taking all this into account, I believe it is the right ruling, right? It is what I thought would ultimately happen once they had a full-blown hearing. But the reality is that I think that this holding is going to be limited solely to that,
In terms of, looking at it in a couple different ways, do you think that this might actually long-term benefit the fans and that players maybe take a lesson from the Bediako situation and say, why don't I stay in school? And assuming they're not a lottery pick, but why not stay in school, exercise my entire eligibility where I am going to be making good money, not crazy money, but good money in college? Could there actually be a benefit for what we've been talking about of being able to actually get used to the players in college basketball because they're staying for all 4 years to maximize their earnings at that level?
They know they can't. They can't come back.
Absolutely,
because correct. They know they can't return.
Look at Carson Beck this year. I think he made a good career decision. He made a good financial decision, but it was to go play that out. In the past, you'd probably say, okay, I'm just going to go. Right. I'm just going to go to the NFL and see where I'm at and try to make a roster and work your way up. So, yeah, I absolutely think. And if you even look at from the time that Bediako, declared until now, there's a lot more from what we see in the reports of what people are receiving in way of NIL compensation. So I think the precedent of the case absolutely helps, and you're right with that, Hayes. And then I think when you look at that money, why wouldn't you want to try to tap through that, especially when you're one of these marginal players, and especially in the NBA, because the rosters are so small. There's so few guys that actually make it and stay in the league,
The final thing, and thank you for that, and I think we've cleaned that up. I'm gonna drop one on you out of nowhere, by the way, because I was talking about this at the top of the program. This fight between the Pistons and the Hornets. Did you see it?
I didn't get to see it yet. I want to see it now after the drive in.
I read about it on Monday and I thought it was just your basic sports fight where a bunch of guys yell, "Hold me back," but nobody really fights. Then I saw it. It looked like a fight on the street. It looked like a bar fight. It did. Because the police were on the court. The police were on the court separating them. There were law enforcement officials. When does we talked about the Todd Bertuzzi in hockey where he hit the guy with the stick? I think that's the right name. When does it go from something settled with NBA suspensions to the law gets involved and someone gets charged with assault? I'm probably not asking that very elegantly or eloquently, but when does it change?
So one of the first things, there's sort of a defense, just in general that we have, let's call it assumption of the risk. And, so if you get into a fight and you would say that's something that we would anticipate would be a part of a basketball game, in hockey, you would expect to get in fights, right? I mean, it's kind of celebrated. You'll see it literally on the TV bumps or whatever. So where we've had some liability, criminal liability or what have you in hockey is like the use of the stick, and it doesn't stop. So I think you really got to have the law enforcement officers get in place, restrain somebody. You then get back up. You go over. You fight somebody after there's been, a law enforcement officer tell you to stop or to do that. So anything that you could go and say, this is not what you would contemplate in the middle of the game, right? get off of me, turn around, punch somebody, punch them back, you know, in tonight's Florida-Georgia game, right? Florida doesn't like Georgia. Georgia doesn't like Florida. Could you have a fight in the middle of the game? Yes. Is there going to be criminal liability? No. If the game is over, you come over. The game has ended. You start fighting with people. Law enforcement tells you not to do it. Then you go do it. Then you're going to get charged. Yeah. One, you're going to get charged in that situation for not following, you know, what a law enforcement officer, you know, has told you to do. But there would be a real good argument at that point, especially if somebody is significantly injured, right? Now, one of the things with fighting is, as a general rule, fighting's mutual. Right. So you're going to get criminally charged. You go do something to somebody that's unilateral. You go do something to somebody, cold cock them when they're not expecting it. Those types of things could open you up, you know, to a civil lawsuit and would be more criminal in nature. Yeah. If two guys are actively fighting, that's not something you're typically going to see prosecuted, right? Because there's a mutual sort of component to that.
You've explained it's out of the ordinary. Okay. Right. If a guy throws a beanball at someone and they fight, that's the ordinary. Batters charge them out all the time. But if then someone comes running out of the dugout with a bat, that's not involved and clubs somebody, now that's out of the ordinary.
Right. And I think
so out of the ordinary, it could become assault.
Anytime you go, well, remember, assault in Florida.
It's battery, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. And that would be an aggravated battery, right? Okay, whenever, if you use something that could be considered a deadly weapon, right? And that could obviously be a gun, but it could be a cinder block. Yeah. And so if you went and grabbed anything else on the court, did any of those types of things, and then went to go strike somebody, that's when you're going to get criminally charged.
Great work as always. Brett Hastings from the law firm of the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. We come back. Let's talk some hoops. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hi, it's Frank Frangie. You hear my buddies Dan and Jeff talk about that great food at Daly's Dash all the time. Jeff loves that Duval, and Dan loves the Boss. And they're right, both are terrific. But I can tell you they have so many excellent options at Daly's Dash. Salads and flatbreads and tacos and quesadillas, you name it. And of course, those fantastic subs and sandwiches. I just had the Italian sub. It is so good. The thing is, Daly's Dash is really committed to their food and committed to making it perfect for you. Everything is fresh, made to order every time. And there's so many Daly's locations in town, no matter where you are, there's one near you. I love to pop in and grab a sub at lunch, or maybe after a round of golf, or maybe even after calling one of those Jags games. There's never a bad time to stop into Daly's Dash and grab that great, great food. So head there today. Take it from Dan and Jeff, or take it from me. They say it's nicer here. It really is. And the food is delicious. Head to Daly's Dash today.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%. It's the lowest in years. Hey, gang, Prosser here. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time. Or you can keep your primary mortgage intact, get cash out. Equity with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now. See what option works best for you, but don't miss this big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 904-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com. No hard credit pull. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit
NMLSconsumeraccess.org. New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Hey gang, Hickett here. Guys, listen up. Valentine's is coming. You want to be a hero this year with something really romantic? It's easier than you think at Beard's Diamonds. Beard's has put together a stunning selection of timeless, affordable jewelry she'll absolutely love. Dazzling rings, sparkling earrings, elegant pendants and bracelets, set with brilliant diamonds or colorful gemstones. Classic gold that never goes out of style. And you can't beat the wow factor of top brand designer jewelry. They got it all at Beard's. And here's the best part right now. Save up to 40% on all diamond stud earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets. You know, cards, flowers, and candy are sweet, but nothing says I love you forever like a sparkling gift she'll wear and cherish every single day. Plus, Beard's is your local Jacksonville jeweler, family-owned and community-strong for more than 45 years right here in the St. John's Town Center, not some Wall Street chain. Hurry in today. Don't wait. Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center. Get up to 40% off diamond earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Back to a Coyle and Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
My friends of Coyle and Sons are so good. They just finished off a big project, as you know. You hear me talk about it all the time, at our Bregan baseball complex. They're about to start another project for us. No matter what it is you need, particularly in that commercial realm, nobody does it better than Coyle and Sons. If you're a contractor, if you're a builder, my goodness, you want great prices and great efficiency. You want Coyle and Sons Fencing. 904-356-4821 or Coyle, that's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. They're great friends, and boy, are they good in the fencing business. You dropping a little Jim Morrison at us? Is that what's happening here?
Florida State Seminole Jim Morrison.
Exactly right, by the way. Did you know that? Did you know he's an FSU guy?
I was aware of that, but they get it wrong in the movie. They say University of Florida in the Oliver Stone movie.
They got it wrong. Come on, Oliver.
Yeah.
You got to do better than that. I need some Doors. What do you got in there? You got any tickets?
I do. I have a pair of tickets to a tribute show to the Doors live at Thrasher Horn Center. That is this weekend, February 14th. So be caller number 4 right now, 641-1010, and I'll hook you up.
I love it. There you go. You're heading to see the Doors tribute band. Frangie Carline and JJ LaSelva with you on a Coyle and Sons Fencing Wednesday. I want to talk a lot about coaching today. I want to get into the edge and Liam Cohen and all that in the next hour. But let me start with Mike White. The Gators play Georgia tonight. Florida versus Mike White. He's only beaten him once since he left. Todd Golden's dominated him. I looked at Mike White's numbers. They're not bad. 316 and 180 overall. He's of Florida. Billy Donovan has 35 wins in the NCAA tournament. Florida's got 54 as a team. Billy Donovan has 35 wins. Nobody other than that has more than Mike White. Mike White's got 6. Now, Golden's got 6. He got them all last year, okay? But Golden and Mike White both have 6. Nobody else. Lon Kruger has 4. Norm Sloan has 3. That's the list. Mike White went to the tournament about every year. Mike White won a tournament game every year. Now, I was wrong. I thought stay with him. That would be the right thing. It's been proven that him leaving and Golden coming was great for Florida. Really good for Georgia too, because Georgia was going nowhere. Now they're kind of a tournament team. But it was really great for me and others that thought they'd be better off if White didn't leave were wrong. And Golden, Scott Strickland finding Golden and Golden doing what he did proved. So everybody's in a better place. But let me go back to White for a second. Why did, in your opinion, Hayes, Mike White, who was a good coach, wasn't a great coach, won 20 games about every year. He won 20 games 4 times at Florida, won 19 games 6 times at Florida. I mean, they had a pretty good team the year there wasn't a tournament. Got to the Elite 8, one layup away from the Final Four in his second year there. Why did it go so bad between Mike White and the Florida people at the end? So badly that he was getting crushed on Twitter, and one of the reasons he left?
I think it was his teams tended to be the same year in and year out. They were plagued by offensive stagnation. They would regularly go 4 to 7 minutes without a field goal in pretty much any big game that they were in.
Yeah, fair point.
It just didn't seem like offensively he had that innovative of a scheme. And I thought he was a decent recruiter. I think you can draw some similarities between the Mike White tenure and the Dan Mullen tenure. Now, I don't think Mike White checked out on Florida like Dan Mullen did, but I don't consider Dan Mullen a failure as a Florida football coach, but he's lumped in there with guys that absolutely were. You know, he's lumped in there with McElwain and certainly Napier and Muschamp. And to me, Mullen was better than like a bust. Mullen to me would have been like, and Mike White, I think in the same way. It'd be like if you drafted a quarterback in the first round and you had some success, some team success, but ultimately had to move on from him. He wasn't the right guy, but it wasn't like he just couldn't play at all. And that's sort of where I view Dan Mullen and Mike White. I also think, too, that following Billy Donovan was going to be a massive challenge for anybody that undertook it. And I think Billy was more likable. I think he was more engaging. And again, his teams didn't tend to have the same issues always pop up in big games. And so I just think it became obvious that there was a fairly limited ceiling with Mike White. I mean, when he took over Florida's program, they were consistently among the top teams in the SEC. With Mike White, it seemed like they went from first or second to third or fourth to fifth or sixth to seventh and eighth. And yes, they were still doing enough to, get in the tournament, but they weren't really a contender anymore in the SEC. They were just sort of in that, second to third tier. And, really Florida basketball has shown that they should be in a higher classification than that. So, but I think a lot of it was fan frustration over why does his offense always bog down at crucial moments of games.
I think those are really good takes, and I can't edit any of those really. He was a nice guy. You said he was more likable. He was you said not as likable as Billy. He was very likable, but he didn't have the edge. Brett, we asked Brett during the break what he thought. We told him this topic's coming up. First thing Brett said was the edge. Dodd's got an edge now. Billy had an edge. That was missing a little bit. It was a little bit milquetoast maybe. But everything you said, following Billy was going to be hard. Following Steve Spurrier was going to be hard, and so it was going to be hard. And we saw that following Urban was hard. So I think that was part of it. I think you hit it. I think in synopsis, kind of the summary of what you said is he did well, but that was about it, right? If you're going to try to sum it up in a sentence or two, he did well. He was good.
I mean, he didn't get fired.
Yeah, correct. By the way, it wasn't going to get fired.
Right.
I mean, he didn't get extended maybe, but he wasn't. Scott Strickland wasn't firing that year. But yeah, he was a good coach. But boy, when the people came down on him, I mean, it was just. Boy, they hated Mike White. I mean, the fan base, and that is one of the reasons he left. His wife would see it, his kids would see it, and
he's incredibly thin-skinned. He still to this day, when they play in Gainesville, will not get on the podium with the Gator backdrop behind him. Every other opposing head coach that plays in Gainesville will go to the podium where Todd Golden is, same setup.
Yeah.
And it's the same when Todd Golden goes on the road. Like tonight, he'll do his press conference behind a Bulldogs background. Mike White has always done a Zoom with his media because he will not get in front of a Gator logo, which just speaks to what a soft person that he is.
Well, I will say I didn't know that, and maybe I've heard you say that before. I didn't know that. But I will tell you, he was told by Scott and I had this talk. Mike, don't read it. Don't tell your family not to read it when you're in a front-facing position. When you're in a front-facing position, you're going to get criticized. Trust me, I'm a play-by-play guy, okay? I can tell you as a play-by-play guy, if you're in a front-facing position, someone's not going to like you, okay? So and Mike White was told, don't read it. Stay away from it. Don't, but he was a good enough coach. I remember saying this. I remember thinking, okay, I'd never thought that he was going to be a great coach, that Duke and Carolina and Kansas were going to go call him. But I did think he could go find a job. He was making $3 million at Florida. He'd go find a $3 million job, and he did. That's what he made it when he went to Georgia. It was just a bizarre. I think you might have hit it too. Whoever followed Billy Donovan, it was going to be a hard run. It was going to be a hard run. So it was very interesting. Now he got to Georgia, and I'll say this: Georgia hadn't been to the NCAA tournament in 10 years. Okay, in 3 years he had him in the tournament. He's already a real upgrade for Georgia. They're 17-6. They're way better than they were. Good hire for Georgia. But I am starting to wonder if that ceiling thing is going to come in. Now, it's only his third year or fourth year, whatever it is. But I'm starting to wonder, is that ceiling thing we talked about, and it's too early to say that this time, But you wonder, right? Is he a good coach that's not going to be spectacular at any of those places, right? And is the edge part of that? I think he's a good basketball coach, and I think Georgia's. I can tell you, my buddy Bobby and I were playing golf when he was the Florida coach. My buddy Bobby's a good golfer, a great Georgia fan, a great big Georgia fan. We've laughed about this. We're on the tee box at 16, where both of us live, the hole where both of us live, and I remember him saying, we were talking about the Mike White thing. Hey, look, if you guys don't, and they had the coach, Tom Crean, that Harbaugh's brother-in-law. They had Tom Crean as the coach, and they were going nowhere. And I remember my buddy Bobby goes, "You guys don't want him, we'll take him," having no idea what's anything's going to happen. 2 weeks later, they had him. I mean, it was bizarre. I mean, we've laughed about that. Well, you guys don't want him, we'll take him. Well, he's pretty, and now you got him. But I wonder if that ceiling will play now.
He doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah, well, correct. But Florida people know. But let's say you're Tennessee or Auburn, you didn't live it, and you watched Georgia look like they were good out of the gate. I wonder if that same ceiling that we saw at Florida is starting to rear its head, because they look good when the season started. They looked pretty good now
because they didn't play anybody,
and they didn't have a very good schedule. But still, they had a decent team. I mean, if you go 17-6, even though you didn't play anybody, and once you start playing league games, it's going to change. You're not terrible if you're 17-6. So they started 11-1 or 12-1.
Yeah, they're competent. Yeah. I mean, they're an above average team.
But is that will his ceiling be competent to good?
Yes.
And he won't ever get a team to great.
And that's what I would think.
And that's the question we'll ask, right? So, but it'll be interesting to see. Anyway, Florida versus Georgia tonight. Interesting game, by the way. Final thought or two. We'll talk more about the game coming up later. But it's an interesting game because Georgia beat them last year. The best thing Florida has, at some point, Florida was asleep at the wheel against Auburn. Auburn struggled since beating Florida.
Yeah.
But Florida was a little asleep at the wheel. They read their headlines too much. They read their clippings, as they say. This could be a game like that had they not lost last year. Had they not dug the 26-point hole, came out of it, and then lost the game last year. I don't think there's any chance they lose tonight, but for that reason, in part.
Yeah, I also think too. I agree. I like Florida tonight, but we've seen it's been a week of upsets.
Yeah, it's a week of upsets.
I mean, this is the kind of game that certainly could be a challenge for Florida and have some upset potential. The other reason to that point that I think Florida will be ready tonight is, remember, the last time these teams played on January 6th, Georgia player punched Ruben Chinlulu. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Ruben Chinlulu is going to be ready for tonight.
That's great. I forgot about that. But I just thought week of upsets, road game, Kentucky coming in on Saturday. This team's
had a mini bye.
Correct. This team's been good about not looking ahead.
Tend to look ahead a little bit more because Kentucky is already onto you.
But I think Florida beats Georgia tonight. But it's just the whole Mike White dynamic was very interesting. And I think you hit everything. Wasn't charismatic. His offense tended to struggle, but more than any of that, it looked like he had hit a ceiling, and that's why Florida turned on him. And he's the Georgia coach, and Florida's got an awfully good coach. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Catch Gators basketball on 1010XL.
The Gators defend the top spot in the SEC with a trip to Athens to battle the Bulldogs. Florida, Georgia, tonight at 7 on 92.5 FM.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. If you're looking to get cards graded by PSA or some advice on what to do with your old sports cards, every Wednesday and Friday from 1 to 6 p.m., Seth and Maria review cards for PSA submission. We then mail them out if they're grade worthy. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here. Bono's Pit Barbecue has been serving up legendary barbecue on the First Coast for over 75 years, and right now, Bono's has a smoking deal for you. For just $12.49, you'll get Bono's signature pulled pork sandwich, a side, and a drink. But hurry, Duval. This pig deal is for a limited time only. With 18 Bono's around town, there's always one near you. And if you want the best catering, call 904-332-RIBS. That's 904-332-7427 or online at bonosbarbecue.com. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Patrick Young here, a.k.a. the Big PY, and I love my Florida Gators. Now you can hear my Gator basketball instant reaction following each Gator Hoops game. Look for my takes on the social channels of 1010XL. Brought to you by VanguardSportsLeagues.com.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Best Bet is number one. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hacker here. You know, people think Awaken 180 called me or asked me to go on the program. They didn't. Truth be told, I asked them. Didn't even take a talent fee. I didn't want to check. I wanted my weight gone. I was done with waking up tired and lethargic. I was done. And let's be honest, I wasn't failing diets. Diets were failing me. I didn't need any hype or motivation. I needed instructions. The Awaken 180 program was like finally stopping the backyard play calling and having a coach in your ear saying, run this, now trust it. Once my brain got out of the way, everything changed. No overthinking, no negotiating, no self-sabotage. The weight came off fast every single week. Like clockwork. The biggest surprise wasn't the scale. It was the relief. I felt like I finally stopped fighting myself. That's when Awaken 180 took over. So if you're waiting to feel ready, don't. I wasn't either. That's why this worked. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, this is Tom McManus. If you get injured out there, there's only one number to call. Pound Law, that's all. Slip and fall, car wreck, wrongful death. It doesn't matter. Morgan & Morgan handles it all. They're the largest in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 attorneys. $20 billion recovered for 500,000 clients. That's the kind of team I want. If you get hurt from someone else's wrongdoing, check out Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. This month, take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResJacksonville.com and mention 1010XL or Dan Hicken.
Zero Res.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing, PlumbingJacksonville.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Let's start with the NFL draft. The NFL announces today 319 invitees to the NFL Scouting Combine later this month. 9 Canes, 9 Dogs, 8 Gators, and 1 Knoll.
Is that right? Is that
1 Knoll going to the NFL
Jackson,
Scouting? Yes, Combine.
I did not know that. The Gators have 8. That counts a kicker and a punter, but they still have their 8. The Combine's fine. And we've enjoyed going there, and I really do appreciate. I'm not saying it just because they're our team, but I do appreciate where I think the Jags are on it, and I think this incarnation of Jaguar leadership certainly doesn't lean on it like the previous one did. Did I say that eloquently enough or respectfully enough? I don't think they care how many times you can bench press 225 pounds or how you do in the 3-cone. I think they care if you're a good football player. That doesn't mean there's not value to it, but I think this group finds far less value in it.
Yeah, I would agree. It'll still be fun, I think, for Jaguar fans just to sort of get to know the prospects. It's still one of those broadcasts that there's not much going on. I still like tuning in, watching some of the Combine, but yeah, it's more about learning about the prospects and in that sense than so much their traits. But it should be fun. It's right around the corner. The Super Bowl ratings are out. The audience was down to 124.7 million this year, but that is still the second highest ever. So it didn't match last year's record, but still did incredibly well based on recent history.
Yeah, I think if you looked at that, I thought when I first saw down, I thought, oh boy. Yeah. And then I realized it's
the end of the NFL has arrived.
Then I thought,
thanks, Bad Bunny.
Yeah. And then I realized it's only down from last year's epic record number.
Right.
So that means everybody's still watching.
Absolutely. Let's get it to college basketball. Gators at Georgia tonight at 7. UF is an 8.5-point favorite. The Gators are 10th in the net rankings, while the Bubble Bulldogs are 35th. So this game is crucial, but for different reasons. Florida is fighting to stay in that 2-3 seed range. Obviously, they're fighting for an SEC regular season championship. They're in sole possession of first place. But for Georgia, I mean, they're on the right side of the bubble right now. But a win tonight pretty much would solidify Georgia. I mean, they'd have to really collapse if they can win tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if Florida can match that intensity, because now you're at the point of the year where the teams that know they're fighting, we're going to get to a couple of teams last night, starting with JJ's Canes, that are starting to see bubble and what a big win can do. This will be a big test for Georgia.
Here's what's interesting about that. That unlike last year, there's not a lot of wow, they beat them wins in the SEC this year. Last year, there's 7 or 8 teams who, wow, they beat them. There's not that this year. Florida is a wow, they beat them team, the one that'll catch your eye. There's a lot of quad 1 wins, but they're not a lot of jaw-dropping wins. Florida's a team that if Georgia beats Florida, people will go, wow, they got the Gators. I'm trying to think, maybe Kentucky's rounding into one of those teams, but Auburn and Tennessee and Alabama, A&M, Arkansas, they're not that. That's the next group. That's the next 5 probably.
Vandy.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's nobody left other than Florida. So where am I going with that? Everybody is going to be targeting Florida because they're the one you want that win of significance to either get you in the tournament or better your position in the tournament. Well, the Gators are that team.
Florida's Thomas Houck named to the Wooden Award late mid-season top 20 list. Unbelievable honor. Florida really has never had a player seriously threatened for this award in my life that I can remember. So it's fun seeing Thomas Houck, get this recognition.
They should have had one last year. They might have had the best player in the country last year. They certainly had the best player in the NCAA tournament last year, and that's why they won the damn thing. So shame on whoever votes for that, not having Walter Clayton Jr. But your point's right. Florida, even when Florida's been very good, last year's the one year of the very good Gators that one guy stood out. The 14s, where our friend Patrick Young was on that team, they were all good players. The 2 national championship teams, it was evenly balanced. You almost have to go back to Vernon Maxwell when one player carried a really good team. Even the 94 team was balanced. You almost have to go back to Vernon Maxwell in the 80s, Hayes, where one player carried them and no one, and I don't think Houck's carrying them, but he's their best player, and he's really good. He belongs on that list.
Absolutely. It was a wild night in college hoops last night. Let's start with Miami upsetting number 11 North Carolina 75-66 in Coral Gables. Miami is now 19-5 and 8-3 in the ACC. Huge win for their tourney hopes as the Canes are now 36th in the net ranking.
2 things, JJ, about that win. Number 1, it came right after the North Carolina beat Duke in the dramatic game. Number 2, here's what people noticed. Number 1 is North Carolina, but people were watching that in hopes that they would notice. That was, people had their eye on that game.
Yeah, the spread was like Miami was favored by 1.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what time it was after they beat Duke.
Correct.
Classic letdown game. You're traveling. Miami's a pretty good team.
Right.
Shout out to Jay Lucas, by the way. First year,
he's going to be a really good coach.
And that win that Florida had in Jacksonville against Miami's turned into a pretty damn good win.
All of a sudden looks like a good win. But that was, again, you know what I mean, Hayes? That was a win that people said, okay, Miami can improve. Just like with Georgia tonight. Miami can improve its stock. And so everybody was paying attention, and they won the game.
FSU so close to getting a statement win over number 15 Virginia, but the Cavaliers close on an 11-0 run to escape Tallahassee with a 61-58 win.
That one hurt.
Yeah.
If you're a Noel fan, because you felt like you had that one won.
Yeah, the Noles had won 3 straight games, but didn't score in the final 4 minutes and 54 seconds to drop to 11-13 overall and 4-7 in ACC play.
Yeah, that one. And listen, this wasn't a year of significance anyway. you learned early on in the season they had to blow it all up when Luke Laux came in. So you learned early on, Hayes, this was going to be a season of growth for them, not a season of accomplishment, right? And so when you're in a season of growth and not in a season of accomplishment, wins aren't as devastating. But that one felt kind of devastating because they were growing maybe even a little faster than people thought.
Yeah, absolutely. TCU upsets number 5 Iowa State 62-55. A helpful result for the Gators on multiple fronts. Obviously, Florida lost to TCU earlier this season, so it makes that loss a little bit better. TCU now 48th in the net, and also Florida jockeying with the Cyclones in that second, seed conversation. So for Iowa State to take a loss certainly helps Florida on that front as well.
Yeah, one of my good golf buddies went to TCU, is a diehard Horned Frog fan, and he can't figure out if his team's good or bad because they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But that was a big win for them. And you're right, for other teams battling, I didn't think about that, for teams battling for a position with Iowa State. Florida among them.
Yes. Number 13, Purdue holds off a furious Nebraska charge to beat the 7th-ranked Cornhuskers in Lincoln 80-77 in overtime. Nebraska's, I was like kind of thinking that they were probably not legitimate.
Yeah.
Purdue is a great team, as we know, great program. And Nebraska had an unbelievable comeback to even just get that to overtime. So, again, an interesting result there. Purdue, Nebraska, again, in that 2-seed conversation. So Nebraska losing, again, helps Florida out.
I'll tell you this, too. That's a good league, man. That league's last year's SEC. That league's, you think about how good Michigan is. Michigan State, Purdue, Nebraska. You just talked about them, Illinois. And then Illinois loses last night in the league. So I know you're probably getting to that. I probably jumped ahead of you there. But the point is, that's a good league. That league is maybe not quite as deep as the SEC was last year, but the first 6 or 7 teams are very reminiscent of what the SEC had a year ago.
Yeah, absolutely. 8th-ranked Illinois falls at home to unranked Wisconsin, 92-90 in overtime. So 5 of the top 11 teams in the AP poll have already lost this week.
Yeah. Wow.
And we haven't even gotten to Wednesday's action
Pretty
yet,
amazing.
let alone this weekend.
And it's that time of year. It's that time of year now where you're tired. The conference tournaments are in sight. You have a pretty good idea of your seeding now. Anything can happen. So I'm not surprised. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's a lot of upsets. But don't be surprised when upsets start happening at this time of the year. You've made it into February. Conference tournaments are a month away. It's not shocking.
Yeah, no doubt about it. UNF at Florida Gulf Coast tonight. JU at Stetson tonight. All 4 of those teams 4-8 in ASUN play.
And they're both road games for our teams. Those are big games, man. Again, you want to somehow get some sort of momentum before you get into the conference tournament season. And remember, the ASUN tournament's earlier than everybody else's, so it's coming up. 2 River City Rumbles, Hayes, are coming up before that, including one on Saturday. That's the significance. They play on Saturday after both playing on the road. That's why I'm glad usually it's Thursday, Saturday. I'm glad this week it's Wednesday, Saturday. So both teams have 2 games. But listen, those are big games. JU at Stetson and North Florida at Gulf Coast, and then JU UNF playing each other. It's a big 4 days for both of those programs.
Absolutely. Let's get to the PGA Tour at Pebble Beach. Scotty Scheffler will tee off with Hideki Matsuyama at 1:29 tomorrow. Rory McIlroy playing with Ryan Fox, and they start at 12:24 tomorrow. Again, this is a limited field, no cut, so it's just 2 guys, playing with each other as we start this thing. But should be a fantastic week of golf in Pebble Beach,
and a joy to watch because it's Pebble Beach. I've never played Pebble, but I've been to it. Here's how smart I am. I went with my wife and daughter when my kid was 4 or 5 years old, and we went out there. We went to Monterey, and we went to Carmel and all those areas right there near Pebble. And we got there, and I could have played like $400, but I could have played. But I said, it's a family vacation. I don't want my wife and daughter to be bored for 4.5 hours, so I'm not going to play. Dumbass. Okay, just in case you're wondering, what was I thinking?
They would have been fine.
Yeah.
They'd have been fine.
Well, go play it this summer.
To their credit, by the way, they said, go play. My wife goes, go play, and I didn't play because I'm an idiot.
Rory McIlroy making his season debut and talked yesterday about the Players' Championship and a possibility of it going to a major, as the PGA Tour appears like they are attempting to do. Rory, I'd say, offered mixed support. Really talked up the players, said, I think 4 majors is fine, though, but then did say that he feels like the Players' Championship has way more of an identity than the PGA Championship, and that the PGA Championship should move to August. So some pretty good diplomatic answers there from Rory McIlroy, kind of satisfying both parties as the Players' Championship becomes a major.
Well, I agree with him on the PGA. The PGA is the least paid attention to major and has far less impact on your golf opinions than the Players does. It does. You're going to get this. Now, the fact is this whole major conversation is on the table now. That's the first thing we needed is now the conversation is in play. It's not going to just be everyone going, yep, it's a major, we're good. It's not going to be like that. There's going to be pushback. Some old-timers, traditionalists are never going to accept the fifth major, but the conversation is now in play, which is what we kind of like.
Absolutely. Let's get to the Olympics. Lindsey Vonn has updated her condition. She had a successful third surgery on her tibia fracture. You should see the brace that they have her leg in. She posted a picture on Instagram of her in her bed. It is, I've never seen anything like it, but I'm glad, she is recovering. A third surgery. She just crashed over the weekend.
I know.
It's amazing. That'll be we'll have to remember the next time Dr. Kevin Kaplan is with us to kind of take us through what kind of a fracture she must have had for it to be, this many surgeries on top of each other to correct it. And I'm not kidding you. If you haven't seen the Instagram picture,
I haven't.
I've never seen a contraption like what her leg is being braced with.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I hate it for her, but she'll be long remembered. It's been an interesting Olympics so far for the American skiers.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's get it to walk-off charities. The farm at Okefenokee is doing a really cool thing. Sign up for their monthly newsletter at okefarm.com and select 1010XL when asked how you heard about them. When you do this, the farm will donate a new baseball glove to walk-off charities. So sign up to learn about the events. You're giving a kid a glove. It will literally take you less than a minute to do this, and you'll be putting a smile on a child's face. So please go do that, okefarm.com.
We have a clinic coming up on Friday, and we give away 200 of those gloves, and you ought to see the look on the kid's face when they get that glove. And look, we give away thousands a year. So thousands of baseball gloves a year, it costs money. So every time again, think of what Hayes said a minute ago. You sign up for a newsletter and a kid gets a glove.
It's a cool newsletter, too. I mean, I've been a subscriber now for several months, and they tell you about the dinners that are coming up and the features of the property.
Yeah.
It's fun to read through. It's not like it's intrusive
it's
at
one
all.
Click. It's one click, and you got a newsletter coming, and a kid gets a glove. It's pretty cool stuff.
It is. It's a good deal. We appreciate our friends at the farm at Okefenokee. Let's do a little sports flashback, because on this date, 36 years ago, this happened.
Legs together as Buster landing these. Oh, nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at this. He's knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas. He's in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not going to make it. Unbelievable. 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 Buster Douglas is the new heavyweight champion of the world.
Biggest upset of my childhood. I wasn't young enough. I mean, I was born when Miracle on Ice happened, but I was like 3.5. In terms of being a sports fan as a child, this was by far the biggest upset that ever occurred.
Well, there's no question in professional sports, it might be the biggest upset of all time. The Olympics, I don't know if you're calling them professional sports, that has its own category, but even follow it, it might be as big an upset as there's ever been. I mean, or big-time sports. Yeah, I mean, look, NC State beating Houston was an upset. Villanova beating Georgetown was an upset. There have been big upsets. The Jets beating the Colts in '69 was a big upset. But I don't know that any of them are bigger than this. In terms of American sport, I don't know that anything really does trump Buster Douglas, some tall, kind of flabby unknown,
42-1 underdog,
beating Iron Mike and knocking him out. There's been more and more stories about that. James Buster Douglas, who did nothing else. It's not like he went on to this, and this. Never heard from him again.
It also was not a fluke knockout, which could happen in boxing. He beat the brakes off of Mike Tyson.
He did. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. We'll get you out on our musical note of the day. Today, we're going to celebrate Dire Straits, and their great album, Brothers in Arms, reaches #1 on the Billboard chart this week. Back in 1986, the album sold over 30 million copies. This is Money for Nothing.
Yeah, I would say, I've told you this before, Mark Knopfler is probably one of the most underrated, whatever you want to categorize him as, guitarist, songwriter, performer. He's probably one of the most underrated in every category. Love Dire Straits. Well done as always. Our Tuesday, we're going to talk coaches and a whole lot more. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
You never know what's going to happen.
If we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not this game.
And that's the beauty of sports.
Not tonight.
1010XL.
Screw them.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision, so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Like to learn how to fly an airplane? Well, you're not alone. High Flying Jacko here, inviting you to listen Sunday morning. We'll start your aviation career with a 60-minute ride on the airwaves of 1010XL. The High Flying Show, Sunday at 9 on 1010XL.
If you're thinking about getting a new roof sometime this year, Endless Summer Roofing can help. I'm Claudia, owner of Endless Summer Roofing. Stronger materials, expert installation, real peace of mind. A new roof isn't just an upgrade. It's the primary source of protection for your family home. Visit endlesssummerroofing.com for a free inspection today, and I'll make sure you're ready for tomorrow. Endless Summer Roofing. Protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Peterbilt Chocolatier. Tonight, the Gators will take on the Georgia Bulldogs on the road for a 7 o'clock tip-off, this time airing on 1010XL 92.5 FM. The 14th ranked Gators move to the top of the SEC rankings following their 19-point win over Texas A&M Aggies on Saturday night, their third straight conference victory. It's 72 degrees at 5 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. 10-10-10.
Take.
The 10-10 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. When I think of the things that you have to combine to be a good coach, whether it's now or whether it was 30 years ago, I get this hunch Liam Cohen might be one of the best coaches in any sport around here that we've seen in a long, long time. And let me preface this, by the way. The around here includes these guys. Tell me if you've heard of them. Tom Coughlin, Steve Spurrier, Bobby Bowden, Billy Donovan, Urban Meyer. Heard of any of them? Okay. It's a pretty good list. To make the list, it's a pretty damn good list, okay? As lists go, good luck being on that list. But I have this hunch, this guy, number one, you need to be really intelligent, know your sport. Well, he's obviously that. It's clear how bright he is. It's clear how X's and O's good he is. You also have to really connect with players. Those 5 guys I just ran off really connected with their players. You have to really connect with your players. The third part, so you have to be a good coach and you have to be a good leader. Okay, that's more succinctly. The other thing is, and I really got thinking about this because I wanted today's show to be about a lot about these coaches. That's why we did the Mike White thing earlier and Todd Golden. The one gigantic difference between Mike White and Todd Golden, we've agreed, is that edge, right? I mean, there's others, but he's got that edge. You think Tom Coughlin had an edge? You think Steve Spurrier had an edge? I mean, think about all those guys I just ran off. You might say, okay, well, Spurrier, but Bobby Bowden didn't have an edge. I got news, brother. You can't imagine the edge that son of a gun had. Don't be lured to sleep by the good old boy Southern stuff. I promise you that. I knew him really well. He had an edge. Liam's got an edge. I mean, he's got an edge to him. Before I knew him very well, I was talking to Baselli, and I said, I want to get to know, and I've since gotten to know Liam. I want to get to know Liam a little bit, and I said, man, he's a good guy, and he's funny. He seems really smart. He's really, really good offensive mind. And Tony goes, Frank, he's got an edge. And he starts laughing. I said, really? Why? He said, wait till you see it. Well, we've seen it. We've seen the edge. We've seen it in those post games. We've seen it when he talked about being a small town team or a small market team, whatever it was. I think Liam Cohen has the combination, Hayes, of smart as heck, instinctive, meaning you're good on the moment, connects with players because he's a really good leader, and he has that edge to him, much like Tom Coughlin had it. Personality's different, but the edge isn't. I think he might be really, really, really good for a lot of years for all those reasons, and that's the 10-10 take.
Yeah, it's a very good one, and I think 60% of the battle is already won, because when you have that level of success in year one, it just opens up so many things for you, and it just takes any sort of negative away. I mean, he's proven he can do this at a very high level. It's so much easier to have new additions buy in now. It's obviously the team that returns, they're all bought in. They showed that on the field this season. But yeah, I think the success Liam was able to have in year one, like, the hard part's over. I mean, obviously it's a challenge to stay at the top of a division. It's a challenge to go out and try and win 13 games again. Those are very difficult challenges. But in terms of the build, the hard part's over. I mean, he's got the fan base completely behind him. I think everybody around that covers the NFL understands what a great coach he is. He was a close runner-up to Vrabel and Coach of the Year honors. So the respect level that I think comes with that, in terms of pursuing free agents, particularly free agents that are looking to ring chase. I think it certainly helps there. So there's no doubt about it. Plus, he's got a quarterback that's still very young in terms of life. He'll be going into his 6th year, but he's still just, 26, 27 years old? I think
26.
He's 26. Yeah. So, so as you look at it, I mean, there aren't a lot of reasons to think that this is going to, start to crumble. He has shown an ability to connect with players. He took good care of the players, but he listens to the players. I go back to not really knowing how he wanted to play the first preseason game. Should I play my starters? Should I not play my starters? Robert Hainsey says, I think we should play. The fact that he took that input and went with, Hainsey's suggestion, and then to see how the team performed. Again, they were relatively injury-free because I think Liam knows how to work them the right way, work them properly, but also make sure they're ready. Excellent game manager, as we have seen. And yeah, when he feels like his team has been slighted, he will not be bashful to call that out. Just ask Robert Saleh about the sign stealing, farce that Saleh threw out there before the 49ers game. So it certainly seems right now, and the other thing too, hired an unbelievable staff.
Yep.
I mean, so for a first-time head coach, I don't think there's anything Liam Cohen could have done more to show that certainly he has laid a foundation to be incredibly successful. And again, laying the foundation is the hardest challenge, and he's surpassed that. So I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Of all the things you touched on there, and I agree with every one of them, and you're right, the hard part's over. Now it's all hard part, but the hardest part is drawing a line in the sand, planting your flag, if you will. That part's done, and I agree with that. Of all the things you said, I'm going to hit on one thing you said that does not get enough attention, and that is they don't have a high array of injuries because he knows how much to work them and how much not to work them. I can tell you one of the things that astounded me in the Billy Napier era at Florida is how many guys were always hurt. Every receiver was hurt, and you missed this game and that game. And my first thought was, gosh, Florida was unlucky. Man, Napier, you can't control bad luck. But then I kept watching and I kept watching. I'm not trying to beat up on Billy Napier, but I'm going to tell you, but I kept watching and I kept watching. So I'm connected enough down there, as you know. So I asked somebody really in the know. Did he just have a bad strength coach? Because that was my first thought, is he's got a bad strength coach. The strength. We always equate a lot of injuries to the strength program, right? So if you have a lot of guys hurt, you must have a bad strength coach. So I asked that question. And the answer was no. It wasn't the strength coach. It's coaching. I said, coaching? So yeah, you have to know when to push him. You have to know when to back off. You have to know when one more rep and he's pulling a hammy. You have to know how hard to push to have them ready, but to give them time off and to let their muscles breathe. I never equated, maybe I'm just a dummy, but I never equated how much you practice and how much a coach practices you to whether a team has a lot of injuries. And I was told that by someone, again, without revealing who, trust me on this, would know, and said that's the problem. That's why Florida's guys were hurt so much. That really rang true with me. And Liam, you're gonna have Travis Hunter's a freak injury. You're gonna have freak injuries, but Liam has a real good feel for that, doesn't he? I mean, again, you mentioned a lot of things, and that was one of them. But I'm going to highlight that one because I thought it was a very, very big part of Liam. I think I'm very excited about the direction the Jags are heading under head coach Liam Cohen. More in a moment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
I'm not saying a word till I get a lawyer.
The Drill.
Is this about the bonuses again?
Mornings.
There are no bonuses.
On 1010XL.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll treasure forever? It's easier than you think at Beard's Diamonds this Valentine's Day. We've curated a stunning selection of timeless, affordable jewelry she'll absolutely love. Dazzling rings, sparkling earrings, elegant pendants and bracelets set with brilliant diamonds are colorful gemstones, classic gold that never goes out of style. And you can't beat the wow factor of top brand designer jewelry. At Beards, we've got it all under one roof. And right now, we're cranking up the romance with an unbeatable limited time offer. Save up to 40% on all diamond stud earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets. Imagine her face lighting up when she opens that signature Beards box on February 14th. Pure magic that lasts a lifetime. Guys, cards, flowers, and candy are sweet, but nothing says I love you forever like a sparkling gift she'll wear and cherish every single day. And that gift is on major sale right now. Plus, Beards is your local Jacksonville jeweler, family owned and community strong for over 45 years. Right here in the St. John's Town Center, not some Wall Street chain. We're your neighbors, and we're here for you. Hurry in today. Don't wait. Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 7-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award, earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit nimnickchevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right. Where do you go? The answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Wheeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Dr. George Barry, your local orthopedic surgeon. In the wintertime here in Jacksonville, it does get pretty cold, and sometimes you wake up with aches and pains in your shoulders and knees. Don't forget to stretch and stay mobilized so these joints don't stiffen up. And if that doesn't work, you can see us at Barry Orthopedics, where we can give you the treatment that you need.
Be sure and check out the expertise from Dr. George Barry and the entire staff at BarryOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pool. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080. Football's over, and it feels like a part of me died inside. This is Joe C. I know you know what that feels like, but have no fear. Revving your engines is here. The Daytona 500 is this Sunday. The fastest way to bet on the Great American Race is with the official sportsbook partner of the Daytona International Speedway, Hard Rock Bet. Don't miss out. Chase the checkered flag. Get to the winner's circle on Hard Rock Bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminix does. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Some auto shops love giving your wallet a flush every time you visit. Not AA Automotive. They fix only what needs fixing, nothing more. Honest, fast, and fair. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
We thank our friends from Coyle & Sons. They really are the best and really good dudes too. I'm proud to be a spokesman for the best fence company in town, residential or commercial. And boy, the commercial and the things they do with these different contractors and builders, you'll get a better price with them. I can tell you they're already doing some stuff with the Jags. They're the official fence company of the Jaguars, by the way. 904-356-4821 or CoileJacks, C-O-Y-L-E, jacks.com. So, involved watching, caring about Speed Weeks at all? Where are you there?
Oh,
Nothing doesn't do it for you.
No,
You've covered it in your
like
TU
once,
days. Just once.
and I warned them.
You weren't the guy?
That I'm not the guy for this, but I did cover a then it was called the Pepsi 400.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
race in July. It was the one after Earnhardt had passed away at the 500 in February. So
Right.
I covered the one in July that Junior won. But yeah, I have great respect for the people
Same,
that love
same.
it, you know, but it's just, and I'm from here, so I don't really have a good excuse, but just no one in my family is a big, you know, NASCAR fan. So I just wasn't raised on it, and I never really gravitated towards it just on my own. So, I mean, I know almost nothing about anything to do with NASCAR. But
Rubbing is racing.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you?
I have seen Days of Thunder and Stroker Race.
I've been to, this is funny. This is even funnier than that. I've been to one Daytona 500.
Okay.
It was for work. I was working with Buddy Martin, our good friend.
Yep.
I was a producer on his show. It just so happened to be the first and only Daytona 500 to be rained out.
Really?
Yes.
That's the one. That was yours.
And then it happened on, so they did it the Monday night after. We didn't go. We had a show at back in the studio on that Monday. And it was the one where Juan Pablo Montoya accidentally ran into a jet dryer, causing one of the biggest fires anyone's ever seen, and delayed the race for like 5 hours. And I was like, thank God we didn't decide to go back again on Monday night. But yeah.
Did you grow up following it? I mean, were you a fan
No, but
growing
you know
up?
what's crazy? I was born in Daytona Beach, Halifax Hospital.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I spent like the first 6 or 7 years of my young life living in Ormond Beach. But like Hayes said, didn't have any family ties to it. But we lived we lived across the beach, but you could still hear it.
Yeah.
Like when the races went, it was insane. I remember one time as a family, we drove on the track in our conversion van. They let you do that. And you're literally, like when you're on the bank, you're looking at the ground. It is insane how high the banks.
Yeah, I've done a number of stories when I was in my Times Union days, but I didn't grow up, and I've got a lot of friends that really loved it, and it is a magnificent event. It's one of the great ones, and the fact that the signature NASCAR race in the world is an hour from here is still pretty cool. It's still, NASCAR had its heyday. I don't sense that. I sense that's gone, but I still think, I mean, Fox televises it and does very well with it. So, but it never moved the needle for me. It's great to be down there when you see the colors all come out, and it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's a pretty amazing thing. So, but it never moved the needle for me. That said, should I tell the story?
Absolutely.
Should I tell the story again? JG's heard the story. I've heard the story 1,000 times, but I'll tell it again because I like telling it. First time I ever covered a race, I was covering the IROC. This would have been circa 95, 96 maybe, somewhere thereabouts.
For the kids, that was like the all-star race.
Well, the IROC was...
It was like what Live Golf thought they were going to be.
Yeah, because the IROC was the deal. The belief was all the cars were the same. So it was all driving. So all the cars were the same. And I had never covered a NASCAR race ever. I had no idea what to do. So the Times Union back then would they'd rent a house. So we'd all stay in the house. And I didn't know what to write. So Tim McDonald was our columnist, also a NASCAR guy. So he had covered NASCAR before he got promoted to columnist. You ever know Tim? You knew Tim, didn't you? Okay. So before he got promoted, so he was a columnist. So I didn't know what to write. So the night before, we're having a few, okay, at least a few. And I didn't know. I said, I don't know what to write tomorrow. So he said, well, you're writing the sidebar of the guy who doesn't win. So Tim was going to write the column and the lead from the winner, and I had who finished second or whatever. I was writing the sidebar. I said, okay, that's great, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what that. He goes, ask him if it got a little loose. I said, what does that mean? He goes, doesn't matter. Ask him if it got a little loose. All right. So we finished drinking. The next morning, we drive over there.
Did you write that one down?
We'd go over there. Dale Earnhardt won the IROC, okay, senior. Darrell Waltrip finished second. And so we're now in the infield. I'm writing about Darrell Waltrip finishing second. That's my sidebar. So I went up to Darrell Waltrip. It's a 100% true story. I went up to Darrell Waltrip, who's the nicest guy in the world, by the way. He's a really nice guy. And, hey, Darrell, I'm Frank Frangie from the Times Union up there. Hey, Frank, nice to meet you. He's awfully happy for a guy that didn't win, by the way. I said, Darrell, get a little loose out there? He said, matter of fact, it did, Frank. He talked for about 5 minutes. I shook his hand, went back, wrote a sidebar, 12 inches. I was drinking by 4 in the afternoon. 100% true. That's my NASCAR story.
Yeah.
That's my first time I ever covered an event. I, to this day, don't know what getting a little loose meant, but I asked one question. He talked for 5 minutes.
Got my quotes.
Wrote a
That's hilarious.
12-inch story. God is my witness. That's 100% true story.
That's fantastic. My
got a little loose.
Yeah.
What happened, Hayes?
My favorite 500 story was we had a loser Monday. This would have probably been in 2021. Thankfully we don't do a Daytona 500 loser Monday anymore.
The night race.
But was it?
We'll keep going.
Anyway, so we have a loser Monday, and my car passed, I think, your car with like 100 yards left.
And it was at night. It was at night.
I can't even remember that.
Yeah.
I just remember jumping and almost hitting my head on my ceiling. And I can't remember who the driver was now. I have no recollection of the details of the race other than, and I don't even think we were jockeying for, obviously,
it was early in the season.
Well, and it was, probably the Gibby and Lauren's cars probably were way ahead of us, or, finished ahead of us. So it's obviously, you just don't want to finish last. But I just remember like a late charge on the final curve, and my guy saved me, and I can't even remember his name, which is a shame because at the time he would have been like a son to me. But that's probably, to be honest, that's probably the last time I watched it.
It was a night race.
Okay.
It was at night because at night. I remember watching it, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna win. And there's nothing more perfect than me winning or something to do with NASCAR. Because however much you think you know about it, I can promise you I know less. No matter how little you think you know, no matter how little the details, how few of the details you can name, I promise you I know less. I can guarantee you that, and I would bet you good money on that. So I was going to talk all kind of trash, and then your guy right at the end passed our guy. So no, I haven't followed it closely. I will say this, and I mean this very sincerely. The passion and loyalty of NASCAR fans, might trump all of it.
I want to go party down there.
Might trump the college football fans, might trump the NFL fans,
because they're traveling it's all kinds of states,
and it means the world to them. And when their driver wins, and it's a cool thing. And I mean that very sincerely. There's one of the great things about our sports culture is how much it matters to fans when they win. How freaking important it is. I don't care if you're college football, NFL, baseball, how freaking important it is, and how devastated you are when you lose, and how much it means. We wouldn't have these jobs if it wasn't that important. We'd have to go get real jobs. That would suck. Instead we have these jobs, right? So how, and of all the people and worlds and sports we cover, of how incredibly important. I don't think anybody's more passionate than NASCAR. You agree with that? I mean, the NASCAR fans. It's amazing to them.
It is, and it does seem like you wonder if it'll have an uptick, because it seems like these last few years have been. I mean, I can't even tell you.
This might be the lowest NASCAR in my life.
I'm not a NASCAR fan, but obviously I'm pay a lot of attention to sports. I can't even tell you. Casually,
who
if you asked me to name the 5 best drivers, I there's no chance I could get to 5 names.
I just looked up the list of past winners. William Byron has won back-to-back Daytona 500.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I had no idea.
He literally could walk into this studio and I would not know who he is.
And let me tell you why I know that name, because preparing today's show, I prepare all 6 or 7 segments. And I said, do we do a Daytona 500 NASCAR Speed Week segment? And I saw that he had won twice in a row. And I said, no, we can't, because it would be disingenuous as hell. What we ought to do is do what we always do, and that's tell the truth. Right. And the truth is we don't cover it very closely, and that's the truth. But I like you, saw the name William Byron, don't know much about him because I don't follow.
Well, what's weird about the 500 particularly is it is, like you said, their quote-unquote Super Bowl of NASCAR, even though it is the first event of the year. But you also, because of the track, you get some random ass winners, not necessarily the best racers every year. You'll get these Cindric guys, or I'm looking at one right now, Michael McDowell. I don't know why, but it's just the restrictor plate tracks. You get some random winners
because you get the huge crashes.
Yeah,
and it takes out
half
12
the field.
Hours. Right,
exactly right. We'll take a break. More in a moment. This is 1010 XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's the Super Bowl of stock car racing. The most anticipated moment in racing. The Daytona 500. NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
All right, folks, our private equity fund just bought another one in Jacksonville.
Love it. Let's make sure the website says locally trusted.
Should we change the number to a Florida area code?
Nah, just pretend we're local.
Meanwhile, Holland Sons Plumbing didn't need a rebrand to stay local. We're family-owned, veteran-operated, and proud to call Jacksonville home. So if you want a plumber who actually lives in your neighborhood, not in a boardroom, call Holland Sons Plumbing. Holland Sons Plumbing. Locally owned, nationally unbothered.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harold & Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident, and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold & Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy's never frozen, always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little dude with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand, a quality sandwich. So do what I do and stop in at a Daly's and make yours a dandy today.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Listen to whatever you like, whenever you want.
I like this.
1010XL on demand. Ad-free shows after the live shows end. Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, celebrating our 49th annual Valentine's Day sale. Come see our hand-picked inventory of thousands of pieces of fine jewelry, diamonds, and gemstones. This Valentine's Day, we have big discounts with jewelry for any budget. And with interest-free financing, you'll get the jewelry you love with a monthly payment you can afford. Monahans will also give you cash for your unwanted gold or silver, or trade it in for new jewelry and get greater value. Monahan Jewelers Valentine's Day sale with big savings in our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hacker here. You know, people think Awaken 180 called me or asked me to go on the program. They didn't. Truth be told, I asked them. Didn't even take a talent fee. I didn't want to check. I wanted my weight gone. I was done with waking up tired and lethargic. I was done. And let's be honest, I wasn't failing diets. Diets were failing me. I didn't need any hype or motivation. I needed instructions. The Awaken 180 program was like finally stopping the backyard play calling and having a coach in your ear saying, run this, now trust it. Once my brain got out of the way, everything changed. No overthinking, no negotiating, no self-sabotage. The weight came off fast every single week, like clockwork. The biggest surprise wasn't the scale. It was the relief. I felt like I finally stopped fighting myself. That's when Awaken 180 took over. So if you're waiting to feel ready, don't. I wasn't either. That's why this worked. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Pages in your mailbox right now. Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go. Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
When women lead, communities thrive. Hi, I'm Liz Grebe from the Jacksonville Business Journal. The JBJ and PNC Bank invite you to join Women of Influence. a powerful celebration honoring the women who are driving change, breaking barriers, and shaping the future of business in Northeast Florida. Come celebrate their impact, connect with leaders from across our region, and leave inspired. Women of Influence, where leadership is recognized and influence is celebrated. For tickets and more information, visit jbjevents.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, the golden moment today. We had all kind of fun stuff, but I'm going to go back to my buddy Brett Hastings. We finally put a bow on the whole Bediako thing, or Bediako, Charles Bediako, no longer will play for Alabama. And Brett explained the difference between a temporary restraining order and a permanent one. Well, this permanent one said he permanently won't play. It was a fascinating conversation, and I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we're done having that conversation, but I wanted to do it one more time, and that was a gold moment today.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great stuff from Brett. So I guess Bediako's career is just over, right? Like, where does he go as a player? Like, I mean, it's
high school.
Beyond, exactly, it's beyond embarrassing. He can't possibly go back to the G League. So does he just, I guess, maybe try and play overseas or something? I mean, but this has to be pretty much the end of his basketball career of any consequence, I would imagine.
Yeah, you wouldn't think if he had any chance to play pro basketball, he would have come back to college.
Right.
You know, I mean, part of the whole coming back to college thing is the G League folks don't want me anymore, I would assume.
Right, and we'll give you $50,000 for every game you play in.
Yeah, right.
Or whatever Alabama offered him.
Now, I mean, he is 7 foot tall.
There's a ton of European leagues.
Yeah,
he probably just did everything possible to stay in America.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, you're right about that. There's an awful lot of players that you watch play here and you didn't think had much, and all of a sudden you find out they're playing in Turkey and lead the league.
And they have for like 10 years.
Yeah, and lead the league in scoring. And so, hey, look,
well, hopefully he has this passport.
Hopefully he does. Tonight's game, Florida Georgia. How's it going to go?
I think Georgia hangs in for about 15 minutes, and then I think it's a smattering. I think Florida's they're just too good, and I do think for what you said, losing in Athens last year, the fact that it did get ugly in the first meeting with Ruben Chinley getting sucker punched, and a Georgia player getting ejected for it. I also just don't think Georgia has any answers. Georgia, to their credit, not to their credit, but to giving them some benefit of the doubt here, they've had a nice start to the year, but they are down their top player, so it's going to be their top scorer. So I think it's going to be difficult for Georgia. So I'd be surprised if Florida doesn't cover tonight. The spread's been between 8.5, 9.5. I'll say Florida wins by 19.
Yeah, I think this could be that game where look ahead to Kentucky, the matchup. They lost there last year. There's something to it. Georgia's best big man got kicked out last time, so they're ticked off. All that could be in play if Florida hadn't hit this dominant streak. You know what I mean? If Florida was playing the way they were playing a month ago, then and they could lose, by the way. I know you lose sometimes, but if all that came into play, then I think, okay, this is the trap game for all those reasons. I just think Florida has hit a gear, man. They found a gear that good luck beating them. I mean, maybe UConn, Duke, or Arizona can do it, but good luck in this league beating them now. Now, does that mean they're what are they 8-2? Does that mean they're necessarily going 16-2? Maybe not, but they're not going to lose very many down the stretch here. So I'm with you, Hayes. I can't imagine them losing to a Georgia team that lost its best player in the Wilkinson kid, who's the best scorer. Georgia will be ready. And again, it's an important game to Mike White. Those players know that. I assume he's got a good relationship with his players, so they'll play hard for him. They're ticked off. The center got kicked out of the game last time. They will tell you that had a lot to do with them losing. I don't believe that, but that's what they'll tell you.
They lost 92-77 in the first meeting at Gainesville. Right, but this Florida team has grown a ton since January 6th.
And that is why I don't think it's a trap game. Because I mean, Florida's steamrolling teams. I mean, it's almost comical the way they're steamrolling these teams now. It really is. So yeah, I'm with you. I think I think they win easy in the game. You never know, because like I said, I think Georgia has upgraded with Mike White. They are better than they were before him. I really believe that. They've upgraded. He had him in the tournament last year. My guess is they're going to be in the tournament this year. If Florida wasn't playing at the level they're playing at, I would think this is a game Georgia could get them for all those reasons. But I think it'll be hard. We'll see. We'll see. Again, it's still an SEC game, still an SEC road game. We'll see. We'll take a break. We'll be back to wrap the program. Say hello to Hacker after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
PGA Tour Thursday, it's the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, played at both Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill. World number one Scotty Scheffler, the betting favorite, he is at plus 300. Rory McIlroy won that tournament last year. He's at plus 1,300. Siwoo Kim plus 2,000. Xander Schauffele plus 2,500. Tommy Fleetwood is also at plus 2,500. And Cameron Young at plus 2,700 to win at Pebble Beach. Sunday, it's the running of the Daytona 500 to start the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season. Joey Logano, the betting favorite to take the checkered flag at plus 1,000. Ryan Blaney plus 1,100.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, KeysOfProgress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Let's talk about the sound no homeowner wants to hear. Drip, drip, drip. Still dripping. That's exactly why Duck Duck Rooter created the Love Your Pipes promotion. Plumbing problems don't scare us. Not with years of experience and honest, upfront pricing on our side. Right now, you can get free plumbing assessment on all fixtures with any paid plumbing service. It's the smart move to fix the issue now before it becomes bigger. So when you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Bro, have you heard about the hottest and newest sports league in town?
Vanguard Sports League isn't just VIP, it's the standard. Smoke-filled tunnel intros, cool benches with canopies, big scoreboards, championship rings, and convenient locations all across Jacksonville. Oh, and mascot potties there hyping everyone up every game. No wonder it's the talk of the town. Spring and summer registration now open.
Search VanguardSportsLeague.com today.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, it's Taylor. Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. Don't fall into the same routine of last-minute grocery store runs, picked-over flowers, and forgettable chocolates. Make a new play this year with a gift from Peterbrook Chocolatier. Choose from beautifully crafted artisan chocolates or a gift basket filled with the perfect mix of sweet, salty, crunchy, and creamy treats. With 15 North Florida locations, you likely drove past one today. Up your game this Valentine's Day with a gift that truly impresses. Find your closest location at peterbrook.com. That's peterbrook.com.
Yo, it's your main man ET here for Blue Chew. And guess what? Blue Chew tablet isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code. Blue Chews provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, longer. It's like someone gave you downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. No awkward doctor visits and no uncomfortable waiting rooms. It's nothing worse when them nosy behind neighbors are looking at your packages and then asking you questions. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I got this. Blue Chew is simple. It's discreet and delivered straight to your door. And let's be honest, this isn't just for you. Give her group chat something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. And guess what? I got a special deal for our listeners. Get your first month of Blue Chew on me. That's right. Just use promo code 1010XL and you pay $5 shipping. That's it. Head over to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Use the code 1010XL, then just chew it and do it.
Zero Res Month of Love Sale. Hicken here. Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. In 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $149. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the 1010 XL or Dan Hicken Special.
Zero Res.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it, too.
We sure appreciate my friends from Coyle & Sons. One more time, the number to call if you need a fence of any kind, 904-356-4821. You go to the website now. It's Coyle, C-O-I-L-E, Jacks.com. It's Valentine's Day. Do you know that?
That's right.
Valentine. Let's give something. Well, you got to have something in there. What do you got in there?
I got a great gift
pouch.
today. I got a $500 gift certificate to Beard's Diamonds plus a $75 gift card to Wick, a candle bar. You could also head over to 1010XL.com for our Valentine's Day gift guide for more great gift ideas. Or you could be a caller right now at 641-1010.
First caller, you heard him, 641-1010. What a prize that is. What a Valentine's Day prize. So call right now. Let's say hello to Hacker.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Any trouble for the Gators tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a must-win for Georgia. I mean, I believe this was the last game Florida lost last year before going on their title run. They lost up in Athens a year ago, so hopefully there's some residual effects from that for guys that were there, like Chinyawu, Halk, Handlockton. It's a must-win for Georgia. I think Florida wins the game, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I would think, I said this a minute ago, I would worry that this was a trap game because, again, Georgia's going to be fired up. It's Mike White and it's his whole team, and the center got kicked out of the game last time, and it's a road game. So I think they keep it close. I just think the way Florida's steamrolling people, they are – I don't know that anyone can hang around.
Right. No, it's a classic trap game because of Kentucky being on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. The way Florida's playing, and because Georgia got them up there last year, I do think that'll play a factor tonight.
And that helps, and that helps Florida. So good. Where is Gator basketball on the Hacker list?
It's pretty high. I mean, look, I'm football, obviously NFL and college. Although I've become more of an NFL guy than a college guy. I think college football has gone number 2 for me. I've just kind of made the transformation to more of an NFL guy.
So if in some order, whatever order, it's Jags, Gator, football, and Magic, I'm going to put those 3 in like an elite category in the Hacker list. Is Gator basketball next?
Gator basketball would be next. That would be the 4.
A little bit of a drop off.
There's a
3 to 4.
drastic drop off after 4.
Okay.
Unless Tampa Bay is good, and then I'll root for them in the Stanley Cup. Right? I got a Stanley Cup to win.
And the Rays.
And the Rays. We're back at the Trop this year. Enjoy that.
That's awesome. What's coming up tonight?
Yeah. Greg Allman of Fox Sports is going to join me. He did a story, the top 100 free agents coming into the year, and did predictions on where everybody's going to land. I finally found somebody that thinks they're going to re-sign Devin Lloyd and that they should re-sign Devin Lloyd. And Greg Allman's going to give his thoughts on that. I think Jaguar fans will enjoy that conversation. That comes up at about 6:15.
I love it. Hacker Nation comes up. Hacker After Dark. Hacker, we appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, that'll do it for our program. Tomorrow, we'll be live at the Players. We're going to play a little golf on that little golf course they have out there. And then you and I will do a show. Lee Smith's going to sit in for a couple segments. We're going to talk extended golf with Lee Smith tomorrow at 4:15. Look forward to that. So we'll be live from the Players. Players Media Day is tomorrow. We're out here. Hackers next is 1010XL and 92.5.